welcome back to another episode of Nick Tiffany's Movie Reviews, coming at you online from nicktiffany.com, on all podcast networks at NT Movie Reviews, and on YouTube at NT Movie Reviews. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about films of the year, great horror, of course coming from A24, who have just been on a roll with directors like Robert Eggers, Ari Aster. They've turned their attention now to two former YouTubers, the Filippo brothers, Danny and Michael. These guys had a channel called Raka Raka. So they're Australian, and they made all of these different short videos, kind of horror, comedy shorts. Really impressive stuff. Some of the things that I've seen, the different clips, certainly caught the eye of a lot of producers. Like, hey, you know what? With the budget you guys have, you're doing some pretty interesting stuff visually, thematically. So they got $4 million to make this film Talk to Me. And I think after like the first or second week, they'd made $8 million back, and this is that thing where I'm like, horror, if you don't overthink it, you don't need all the money in the world to make all the money in the world. This is the case of you could put a horror movie out any time of year, and if it's solid, if they take it seriously, if they try to somewhat make it scary, looking at you, Haunted Mansion, with your $150 million budget, you could do some pretty effed up stuff. And Talk to Me is effed up. I've heard people talking about it in weeks leading up to going and finally seeing this, and they're like, dude, you're not ready. There's some striking visuals in there, stuff that really sits with you and just kind of eats away at your stomach for a little bit. And so, I'm like, all right, I'll take everything with a grain of salt. The premise, there's this creepy model hand, and supposedly it once belonged to a spirit, a medium, someone like that. But when you grab the hand and you hold it and you say, talk to me, a ghost, a spirit, someone from the other side will appear before you. And it's never someone that's like anywhere like remotely normal looking, or even like not even just like attractive. Because obviously in horror, they're like, how can we show you the grossest looking thing that just like churns your stomach and like viscerally makes you like, ugh. So, you say, talk to me, and this creature appears across from you. And then they want you to say, I let you in. At which point your body becomes possessed, the spirit takes over you, and get this, it almost becomes a game for high schoolers. You put 90 seconds on the clock, and you let the spirit go wild, and you're saying all kinds of crazy shit, and you're clawing and scratching. They strap you down so you don't get out. And then before the 90 seconds is up, they get the spirit out of you, and boom. It's all good. You don't remember anything, but we've got cell phone footage of you doing some crazy stuff, saying wacky things, and it's all fun and games, Man, that's how it always starts. That's how it always starts. The film follows Mia, who's played by Sophie Wilde. It's close to the anniversary of her mother's passing, so there's a lot on her mind. She spends a lot of her time with another family, her friends Riley and Jade and her mother. These are her best and closest friends, I would say. She's not too close with her dad anymore. So when she's spending time with them, inevitably the three of them sneak out. We're going to take our younger brother to this crazy party. And then these people are going to pull this hand out. And they're going to tell us it's some sort of magic voodoo, whatever. And, Mia's like, whatever, man. I got nothing to lose. Frick it. It's probably not even real anyway. Until she sits down, grabs the hand, and says, talk to me. And then, like, oh my God, this horrifying thing appears across from her. And, everybody thinks it's some joke. She knows it's real. And then she lets them in. And I won't really say anything more past this, because a lot of this film kind of rides on the fact of like, well, what happens if the spirit stays? What happens if you go past 90 seconds? What happens if you don't let someone in? Are they just there? I think the best way to describe my experience watching this, I'm the only person in the movie theater. It's like noon. And I'm like, okay, I'm double featuring. I'm seeing Blue Beetle after this. let me do the horror first so then Blue Beetle can uplift me. And I get to the theater and I'm the only one there, which for a horror movie, never, ever, ever do I want to be the only person in the theater. When I watch horror movies at home, it is more often than not on Xbox with a friend because it's like, nah, man, I'm like, the lights are off, it's dark. I'm going to get freaked out. No, I'm like, I like horror, but I'm also like, nah, there's a line sometimes. And sometimes half the time you're going to see me putting my hands on my ears. If they had footage of me at the movie theater, I'm sure 40% of it's me with my hands pressed against my ears, wincing like, oh God, I know something's going to happen. Like, oh my God, it just happened. I mean, within 10 minutes of the movie starting, I texted my fiance. I'm like, frick me, man. I'm like, this movie is already scary. What did I sign up for? Damn it. And that pretty much was constant throughout the rest of the movie. There are so many jarring and just genuinely like disturbing things that happen. And it's nothing that ever like borders into like we're gonna do some really fucked up things to people. Sorry, you know what? I just swore. We're just the cat's out of the bag. You know what? For a horror movie like this, it'll warrant it. Viewer discretion is advised. TVMA. But this movie is scary as fuck. Just plainly. Sorry, Mom. Pardon my French. I really commend the Philippo brothers because what they've done is taken this age of social media commentary, this need to record everything and everyone, whether it's just the party you're at or like, this whole idea too of, we're seeing someone get beaten. And what are we going to do? We're going to pull our phones out and record it? Someone needs help and you're recording something. It's screwed up on a ton of levels, but also very smart to use teenagers kind of as the catalyst for this story too, because obviously teenagers at one point, we thought we knew everything. This is just fun. It's funny to play around with voodoo and stuff. Like, it's always let's play with the Ouija board. Come on. What could happen? I come home from every one of these movies like, I am never touching anything voodoo-like. You will never, ever see me playing or doing anything like this. And movies like this are the best reinforcement of like, nah, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. But man, I mean, again, like for $4 million, this is not a huge production. It's filmed, I believe, in Australia. It's a predominantly Australian cast. But dude, I mean, there's so many moments where you're like, God, I'm like, I hate that teenagers are like teenagers sometimes because they make horrible decisions. And not just horrible decisions, but it's like that snowball effect of like, well, I'm going to do this because I'm worried that this won't happen. And then it's like, no, you just made it like a billion times worse. And the thought process of like, I'm going to panic. And so I'm just going to do this. And you're like, no, oh God, no. Or like, you're young. I can see why you thought that. But oh no. I mean, there were so many moments in this movie where it was also just like, it felt like watching a Greek tragedy sometimes because you're like, oh, this is like horrifying because I like really care about these characters too. And it's just unsettling some things that happen to them and what you're feeling and worried about in the future for them. And I just, in 90 minutes, they do such a great job establishing this cast, this whole idea too of talking to spirits. Can you reach out to the person you lost that you love? Are you able to communicate? Is there a way to bridge that gap? And, there's a degree where if you've got nothing left to lose, then why not try? But you and the people around you might get hurt in the process, or worse, possessed, or just any number of horrible things that happen in this movie. A24, they know what they're doing when it comes to horror, especially independent horror. This film is fantastic. If you are a fan of horror, thrillers, and just kind of fresh takes on the genre, especially this updated modern version, it's never annoying in the sense that like, oh, all the kids they're too modern, they're too Gen Z. I don't understand what they're saying. Even if you don't get some of the slang, the feel is still the same as if it's 1970 and they're all playing with a Ouija board or doing something else. And so they do a great job of creating a really dark atmosphere to kind of surround it that also feels naturally inhabited by these children or these teenagers, who some of them genuinely like are children, and you're like, don't bring the younger brother. Like, I'm like, there's just so many things they do where you're like, oh man, I don't even want to worry about this, but they're gonna make me. So talk to me. The hype is real. It's freaking scary, man. If you're like me and you can tolerate scary, this is one of those movies that challenges you. It's not overly gory, but it can be disturbing. And it's like, kind of like Midsummer. There's stuff in there that's like, damn, that's a good movie, and that probably is what that would be like. But I can't believe they just showed that. And I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. And there's more than a few kills or just like possessions and stuff that like are still wiggling around. I'm still unsettled. But freaking great movie. Hats off to the Philippa brothers. Very excited to see where they take this next. Clearly, they've got a lot of fresh ideas. They don't need all the money in the world to do it. So if we can keep making horror films like this, I think the industry is in a good place. Thanks again for listening, you guys. You can find us at nicktiffany.com, on all social media networks at NT Movie Reviews, on all podcast platforms at NT Movie Reviews, and on YouTube at, you guessed it, NT Movie Reviews. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.